Tomorrow, very bold comments here from Boris Johnson, which don't necessarily chime with Theresa May's.
No, 4,000 words of Boris Johnson's vision for Britain's future outside the EU, Britain's glorious future, as he puts it, all splashed across several pages in the Daily Telegraph here. And it doesn't really chime with what we expect the Prime Minister to be saying in a major speech on Brexit in Florence next week. He says we should be out of the single market, out of the customs union. There is no mention of this transition deal, which the government are hoping to negotiate. And he says we should pay no money to Brussels after we leave in 2019, which is exactly what it sounds like the government is trying to negotiate to do for access to European markets. And on that big controversial claim that the Leave campaign made during the referendum, which since then Boris Johnson and others have tried to distance themselves from, it is back with a vengeance, just as it was on the bus when Boris Johnson was hopping on and off it during the referendum campaign. You can see it just there on your screens. Let's fund our NHS instead. Well, it looks like he is trying to now own that. This is what he says in the article. I must report that there are at least some people who are woefully underestimating this country. They think Brexit isn't going to happen. We will take back control of roughly £350 million a week, he goes on. It would be a fine thing, as many of us have pointed out, if a lot of that money went on the NHS. So what is he playing at? Well, some have speculated that this is some kind of leadership bid. He has certainly annoyed a few colleagues in the Conservative Party. The Conservative leader in Scotland, Ruth Davidson, who is no particular fan of Boris Johnson, has sent this tweet saying that she thinks that on the day of a terror attack where Britons were maimed just hours after the threat level is raised, our only thoughts should be on service. Quite pointed there. And the Prime Minister David Cameron's former Director of Communications, Craig Oliver, sees this as very much a leadership challenge to the Prime Minister. This is his tweet. He says that this piece reads like a leader's speech. Obvious it would be seen as a challenge and an attempt to bind hands. So heading into the party conference, there is speculation that Boris Johnson's ambitions are...
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.